Unit Vocabulary 1. Exercise 2.
Record a song. A single. A record. A playlist. A hit. A recording studio. An album cover. Song lyrics. A music festival. Release an album. Go to number 1. Play live at a concert. Form a band. Go on tour.
Unit Vocabulary 1. Exercise 4.
So, Dan, what was the last CD you bought? Was it good?
It was The Resistance by Muse. Yeah, it's not bad. I like it.
Megan, what was the last album you bought? Was it good?
It was Bionic by Christina Aguilera. It's fantastic. I play it all the time. What about you, Rita? What was the last CD you bought? Did you like it?
It was The Fame by Lady Gaga. I thought the album was quite good.
Unit Reading 1. The History of Music Players. Exercise 8.
The history of music players. Today, digital music is everywhere. Most of your music is probably stored on your computer or on CDs. Before 2003, it was almost impossible to buy digital songs online. Now it's easy to download thousands of songs and create your own playlists. YouTube is used by millions of people every day to watch music videos. But how did people listen to songs before digital music? The first method of recording and playing back sound was invented by Thomas Edison in 1877. He called it the phonograph. Edison became famous because of it, and he even had to demonstrate his invention to the President of the USA. Hi-fi is short for high fidelity, which means a very good quality recording and reproduction of music. Hi-fi technology was most popular in the 1960s and 1970s. However, it began in the 1920s with the invention of microphones and other electronic machines. The reel-to-reel player was an early hi-fi player. Record players came later. LPs, long-playing records, were developed in the late 1940s. Records are made of vinyl, a type of plastic. Unlike CDs, they hold music on both sides. There are also singles with just one song on each side. Vinyl records became the most popular way of recording and listening to music in the 20th century. Records are still released today by some bands. After records came cassettes. In 1979, the Sony Walkman changed the way people listened to music forever. The Walkman was the first portable personal stereo. For the first time, music fans could listen to their own music anywhere. It became extremely popular as people started to listen to their music while exercising or travelling. In 1982, CDs, compact discs, were first released. CDs are used to store digital data, and they hold about 80 minutes of music. Between 1982 and 2007, over 200 billion CDs were sold worldwide. Today, they are still the most popular form of storing music.
Unit 9. Pronunciation. Exercise A.
Records are made of plastic. The phonograph was invented by Edison. When were the songs written? Are computers used at your school?
Unit 9. Pronunciation. Exercise B.
America. Another. Brother. I'm going to buy another one. My brother's living in America. The computer was made in China.
Unit. Listening. Anime star. Exercise 12.
And on today's programme, we have a special report about a 15-year-old British girl who has become famous in Japan. Kevin Blake is here with the details. Kevin, what can you tell us?
Like most 15-year-olds, Rebecca Flint likes to dress up and dance. Rebecca started recording her performances a few months ago, and then she posted them on YouTube. Millions of people have watched her YouTube videos, and she's become an internet celebrity, especially in Japan.
What sort of songs does she dance to?
She dances to J-pop or Japanese pop songs and anime theme songs.
Anime theme songs?
Yes, anime refers to a style of animation from Japan, influenced by the manga, Japanese comic style. Anime usually has characters with large eyes, big hair, exaggerated facial expressions, and long arms and legs.
OK, so anime is cartoons that are similar to the style of Japanese manga comics.
Right. It's quite different from American or British pop music.
And how did she become so famous in Japan?
A popular Japanese website showed Rebecca's video, and she became a big star in Japan. Now she has thousands of fans there. In fact, she now has the second most popular website among Japanese musicians.
So how did she become interested in Japanese cartoons and comics?
Well, 3 years ago, she got an English translation of a Japanese manga comic called Fruits Basket and loved it. She started reading all the manga comics she could and watching anime cartoons. She's also started learning Japanese.
So is she going to release an album?
Oh, yes. Her first album is coming out next month.
And what about DVDs?
Her Japanese DVD was released last November and went straight to number 8 in Japan's DVD charts.
Right.
And that's not all. Rebecca performed live for the first time in Tokyo last October.
Well, Rebecca is certainly going to continue to be popular for a long time.
Unit 9. Speaking. Exercise 2.
Look at this. Take That and Robbie Williams are getting back together. They're going to do a special concert.
That's great! It's next Saturday. Can you go?
Yes, I can. I'm so excited. Where is it?
It's in London.
Unit 9. Speaking. Exercise 3.
It's great they're back together, but Robbie was always the best member of the band.
I totally disagree. They were loads better without him.
OK, but I think the concert will be great. I really want to go.
Me too. Can you come, Dan?
I can't. I'm going to a Gorillaz concert. Do you want to come with me instead?
No, thanks. I don't like gorillas.
Me neither. But have fun.
Unit Culture. Famous music and musicians. Exercise 7. The Sydney Opera House.
The Sydney Opera House in Australia is one of the great iconic buildings of the 20th century. It is famous for music concerts and theatre performances in the 6 separate venues inside. It is the home of the Sydney Symphony Orchestra and Opera Australia. It is one of the busiest performing arts centres in the world. Around 2 million people attend over 1,500 performances a year. Famous singers and pop stars who have performed there include Norah Jones and Ella Fitzgerald.
The Met.
The Metropolitan Opera House, or the Met, is in New York. It is the home of the Metropolitan Opera, America's biggest classical music organisation. It has a young artists programme to help young singers develop their careers. Luciano Pavarotti became famous after singing there. Other famous singers, such as Placido Domingo, regularly sing there. The Met has broadcast live performances on the radio since 1931, and now you can see live performances in cinemas too, thanks to its high-definition video transmissions.
Unit Vocabulary 2. Exercise 3.
Unoriginal. Unsupportive. Unnecessary. Unhappy. Unimaginative. Unreliable. Untrustworthy. Unadventurous. Unfriendly. Impossible. Impractical. Impatient. Imperfect. Ill. Illogical. Illegal.
Unit 9. Reading 2. What's on your MP3 player? Exercise 6.
Last year, 95% of all song downloads weren't paid for. They were downloaded illegally. A new survey has revealed that most teenagers and students have approximately 840 illegal music tracks on their MP3 players. The number of illegal downloads by 14 to 17-year-olds is higher, around 1,080. Some form of illegal copying is done by nearly 90% of teenagers aged 14 to 17. For example, 14% of the CDs that a teenager owns are copied. In addition, nearly 60% of young people often copy CDs from their friends, share music files by email, or copy all of the music from a friend's computer. In the survey, 80% of young people who regularly download music explained that they were happy to pay to download music from a library, but there wasn't one that had enough music. Authorities were thinking of identifying people who download illegally through their ISP, Internet Service Provider, but this is impractical and unnecessary. British Music Rights is trying to solve the problem of illegal downloads another way.
the organisation wants ISPs to add large collections of music to broadband services for a small extra cost. In France, the company Orange has agreed to provide downloads of more than 1 million songs for mobile phones and home computers for €12 a month. Other providers will probably make similar agreements, so the problem of illegal downloads could soon be a thing of the past.
Unit 9. Writing. Exercise 1.
My musical hero. Amy Ann Duffy was born in 1984 in Wales. She is usually known by her artistic name Duffy. She is a Welsh singer-songwriter. Duffy became famous at the age of 24 when her first album, Rock Ferry, went to #1 in the UK album chart. It was the best-selling UK album in 2008, and 1.68 million copies were sold. Mercy, the first single from the album, was #1 for 5 weeks. In 2009, Duffy won the Grammy Award for Best Pop Vocal Album, and she was nominated for 2 other awards. Since then, she has performed live at concerts and festivals all over the world. In 2010, Duffy released her second album, Endlessly, but decided to take a long holiday before starting work on a third. Duffy is also involved in charity work, and she recorded a song for the War Child Heroes charity album. War Child helps raise money for children in countries affected by war. I admire Duffy for her music and her work to help others.
Unit 9. CLIL. Music. Instruments in a jazz band.
There are 4 main groups of musical instruments: brass, woodwind, string, and percussion. There are instruments from each of these categories in a typical jazz band. The trumpet and the trombone are both brass instruments. A brass instrument is made of metal, and your lips vibrate as you blow air into the mouthpiece. The trumpet has 3 valves, which you press to play different notes, but the trombone has a long tube which you move up or down. Musicians can also affect the pitch of a note by changing the position of their mouth and lips on the mouthpiece. The saxophone and the clarinet are woodwind instruments, even though the saxophone is made of metal. Both these instruments have a reed over the mouthpiece, and this vibrates as the player blows air into the instrument. The air then vibrates through the instrument. The bigger the instrument, the deeper the sound is. The double bass and the piano are string instruments. Music is made by vibrating their strings. You use a bow or your fingers to vibrate the strings on a double bass, but you press the keys on a piano keyboard to make the strings vibrate. The thicker the string, the slower it vibrates and the deeper the sound is. The drums are a type of percussion instrument. You hit or shake percussion instruments. You can hit drums with drumsticks or your hands, and the sound is made by the drum skin vibrating afterwards.
Revision. Sketch. Exercise 1.
Hi, Adam. What have you been doing?
Getting dressed.
Where are you going? He's going to meet Graham.
Who's Graham?
Graham's my pen pal. He's been my pen pal for a year now. He's great at writing letters and emails, and he's interested in lots of things. He comes from Canada.
Why has he come to London?
To visit his uncle.
But what does Graham look like? How will you recognise him if you've never met him before?
Graham sent me a photograph of himself with his family. He's tall with short brown hair.
So where are you going?
The cinema. We're going to see the new James Bond film. It was released last week.
What? James Bond? How do you know he will enjoy it?
Well, I love James Bond films, and in one of his emails, Graham told me he enjoys them too.
I totally agree. They're fantastic.
I don't agree. What do you think, Ellie? I don't really like them, but I love the music.
Oh, yeah? The James Bond music is amazing.
But it's really old. It was written in the 1960s.
It's still great.
What are you going to do after the film?
I don't know. Have you got any ideas?
You should go for a tour of the Tower of London. Graham will like that. But it's very expensive. Have you got enough money?
Not really.
Here, I'll lend you some money. You can pay me back later.
Oh, thanks, Bea. You're the best. See you later.